Good evening. Yes, Thamini, you received the link. See, I said that why is it that before every verbal session you don't have the link? So either sir has not included your email in the master list, which can become problematic because I am actually not allowed to send the link to anyone personally. Okay, so I think you need to talk to him immediately and get it rectified. Right. So if anybody else, not only you, if there is anyone else who's facing this problem that you don't receive the links, normally what happens is that the links are sent much beforehand. The links are sent 1 or 2 weeks back. We forget that there is a link. So please check that as well. But if there's anyone who's facing this problem, you need to get it rectified immediately. Okay. We discuss about close test. Close test is nothing but another form of antonyms. Sorry, synonyms. Not antonyms, synonyms. The only difference is that in synonyms, generally they give you a direct question and there are 4 options. But in close test, it is going to be more in the form of fill in the blanks. I'll just show you. Close test has appeared in XAT also, in CAT also, in NMAT also, JMAT also, every exam. Snap also, yeah, Snap also, yes, Jatin. I normally um, don't take the name of Snap because when you're preparing for CAT, you're automatically prepared for Snap. So my focus is always CAT and XAT because then you already prepared for other exams. So a close test is nothing but it is a kind of text completion question in which they will give you a short paragraph from which certain words have been removed and blanks have been put in their place. Okay. So for every blank, they will give you some options. For every blank, they will give you some options. For each blank, you will have some options, which you will need to select the correct answer for that blank. Sometimes the options are close. That is why I'm saying that they pretty much are like synonyms. Uh, Sometimes the options are very close. So they are just like text completion and synonym questions. The only difference being that over here, instead of a sentence, they will give you an entire paragraph to work with. You will have to comprehend the paragraph. And the number of blanks that you can get can be very high, sometimes 5 or 6 blanks also. For each blank, you have 4 options. So if they give you, let's say, 5 blanks, you will be working with 20 words. If they give you 6 blanks, you'll be working with 24 words. So lots of words would be required. Let me solve 1 or 2 questions with you. Then I will let you solve it on your own. This is the first set appeared in NMAT. NMAT, they are pretty easy. The dilapidated building at the end of Andover Road had always been a point of dispute in the neighborhood. In and dash to the modern buildings around. So because it is a dilapidated building and there are modern buildings all around. So this building, in front of the modern buildings, this building is going to be what? From the given options for blank one, it is going to be aesthetic. How? It is going to be the antithesis. Antithesis means the opposite. It is going to be the opposite. It cannot be endorsement because endorsement means approval. See, approbation and endorsement, both these words, what do they mean? They mean approval. Okay, yes, from one, there are 5 options. You have to select one of them. Okay, ordeal. What is ordeal? Ordeal is a difficult situation. You are in an ordeal. That means you are in a plight. It's also called plight, a predicament. You are in a difficult situation. And this word idiosyncrasy, this is important. This is a very important word. Okay, what is idiosyncrasy? Anyone? What is idiosyncrasy? Idiosyncrasy. Yeah, a peculiarity. It is called a peculiarity. Okay, so you have um, um, a strange or unique behavior, a strange or unique behavior that is called your idiosyncrasy, right? A strange or unique behavior. It is a characteristic that you have. Absolutely, Hima, you are right. It is a characteristic that you have. Now, what is so special about this behavior? Because it is a behavior, so what is so special? It is special because not everyone behaves in that way. Okay, it is, if you have a idiosyncrasy, if you have an idiosyncrasy, you have a very strange or unique kind of behavior which is generally not found in other people. That is idiosyncrasy. Okay, if you go by roots, idiosyncrasy. Okay, crazy makes crazy. Some people may consider you crazy. Idio is self. Idio means self, right? So this is a behavior that is restricted to yourself, which other people may consider crazy. This is the real root. Idiom means self. Okay. Idiom means self. You have words like idiom. What is an idiom? What is an idiom? Idiom is kind of self created usage of words. Idiom. Self created usage of words are idiom. They don't follow any standards of language. For example, Americans, whenever they will do something wrong, what will they say? My bad. Have you heard? You must have heard. They say my bad. Now, I mean, what is the logic behind it? There is nothing called my bad. So my bad is nothing but an idiom. My bad is an idiom. It is a self-created, expression of that particular community, that particular country. That is idiom, right? Idiot. Who is an idiot? An idiot is a person who does not have control over self's mind. Idiot. Who is not himself or herself is called an idiot. So all these words come from the word idio. So idiosyncrasy is not precocious, Madhuri, because precocious. If you are precocious, that means you have a unique kind of ability at a much young age. Okay, the word precocious means something else. Let us not confuse these two words. Precocious means pre means before. I think all of you now know that pre means before. COC is the root for cook, and IUS makes the word adjective. So if you are precocious, that means you are pre-cooked. You are pre-cooked means in the sense that you have matured much before other people mature. So let's say a 10-year-old student, a child, if he becomes a doctor, is a precocious child. Okay, beforehand, he matures beforehand, right? A 16-year-old guy, if he becomes a multimillionaire, then we will call him a precocious child. So somebody who has extraordinary abilities, which is not generally found at that particular age, is called precocious. Okay, a prodigy. You must have heard prodigy. Precocious is adjective. Prodigy is the noun. Prodigy is the noun. All of us, we have heard of that marathon runner. What is his name? Um, Indian guy. No. Usain Bolt. Um, but he did not become the champion at a very young age. That guy from Orissa, he's the Indian. What is his name? Budhia, right? Right. Budhia Singh. Absolutely, Ramani. Budhia Singh. So he's the prodigy, and sometimes we also add child prodigy. Many people actually add the word child prodigy, but in reality, it should only be child. But still, it's okay. So prodigy and precocious are something else. We were discussing about another word, idiosyncrasy. This is very important word, idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy is a unique kind of behavior which is normally not found in other people. Immediately you will understand the meaning of this word. If I ask you to imagine Bappi Lahiri, what will come to your mind? A walking, talking jewelry showroom, isn't it? Yes, yes, a gold showroom, right? So he is laden with gold. He is a walking, talking jewelry gold showroom, isn't it? That is his idiosyncrasy. It's a peculiar kind of behavior which is normally not found in other people. Okay. Some people say, is it OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder? Is it OCD? Now, OCD is a disease. Okay. OCD is a disease. Idiosyncrasy is not a disease. Idiosyncrasy is not a disease. Idiosyncrasy is just your behavior. That does not necessarily mean that you need medication, you need to go to the hospital. So that is the difference. Some people have the habit of not tying their shoelaces. Okay, they don't tie the shoelaces. They will wear shoes that have laces, but that is the idiosyncrasy. They will not tie the shoelaces. Okay, that is the idiosyncrasy. So that is a peculiar kind of behavior. And whether you believe me or not, there is not one single person on this earth who does not have an idiosyncrasy. Every single person has an idiosyncrasy. Whether you want to, you want other people to know about it or you don't want to know about it, that is another matter. But even you have an idiosyncrasy which your parents know, your family know, probably your friends also know. There are some idiosyncrasies you would like to share. There are some idiosyncrasies you would not like to share. Okay, so every human being has some or the other idiosyncrasy, a peculiar kind of behavior. Okay, which is normally not found in other people. Remember this. This is a very important word. So over here in this example, we cannot have idiosyncrasy. We don't need a word like idiosyncrasy here. It's a peculiar kind of behavior. So what is going to be the answer? Antithesis. It is a dilapidated building. So it is the antithesis, means it is the opposite. Antithesis, it is the opposite of the modern buildings. The modern buildings all around are opposite. So in an antithesis to the modern buildings around, its dash design was an absolute eyesore. I'm calling it an eyesore. Then what kind of a design will it have? What kind of design will it have? It will have an obsolete design, isn't it? It cannot be aesthetic. Aesthetic means beautiful. Aesthetic means beautiful, not possible. Grandiloquent means exaggerated or using big words, flowery words. That is grandiloquent. That is not possible. Whichever word you don't know, okay, because there are many words here. Whichever word you don't know, please stop me. Maverick, you know who the maverick? Maverick is a person who does things differently. Okay, maverick is a person who does the same things differently. Such a person is called maverick. Okay, is this clear? Okay, next one. Now, something is an eyesore. Antithesis is opposite. Antithesis means opposite. Okay, anti is opposite. ANTI, antithesis. Thesis actually means theory, a concept. ANTI is against or opposite. So any theory, any concept which is against or which is opposite is called antithesis. So we have Christ, the God, and then we have Antichrist, the devil. Okay, Christ and Antichrist. Antichrist is the antithesis of Christ, isn't it? Another thing which I want to discuss is many people don't know the difference between ANTE and ANTE. They are not the same. ANTI means opposite. Okay. What is ANTE? It means it is a root for before. Root for before. You must have heard. Antecedents. Antecedents. Antecedents means something that comes before. Antechamber. Anterior. Anterior means your forward. Your forward part is called anterior. If it is a four-legged creature, a, a quadruped is called a four-legged creature. A four-legged creature has actually anterior, posterior. So posterior is the back portion, anterior is the front portion. Antechamber, you must have heard of an antechamber. Antechamber is kind of a lobby. Before you enter the main house, the lobby is called an antechamber. So ANTE means before, remember. ANTI is opposite, against. ANTE is before. And over here, there was another word used, eyesore. Eyesore is something you don't like, which actually is not pleasing to the eyes, is not beautiful. Antonym of cynosure, antonym is cynosure. Antonym is cynosure. Cynosure means center of attraction. Center of attraction. It is so pleasing that it becomes a center of attraction. Okay. This building, the Burj Khalifa. The Burj Khalifa is the cynosure of all eyes. When you visit Dubai, anybody who visits Dubai, I mean, how can that person not go and see the Burj Khalifa? Because Burj Khalifa is the cynosure of all eyes. In a particular zoo, let's say they bring some kind of a unique kind of animal, that animal will become the cynosure of all eyes. A celebrity. If in your midst you have a writer, people don't know about writers. But if there is a movie star there, that movie star will become the cynosure of all eyes. Okay, this is how it is used. So eyesore means something that is not pleasant to look at. Something that is not pleasant to look at. And cynosure of all eyes means center of attraction. Mesmerizing, yes. A cynosure is going to be mesmerizing, yes. Okay. Okay. So where were we? We were at number 2. Number 2 answer should be obsolete. Maverick, I told you. Who's a maverick? Maverick is a person who does the same thing but in different way. Such a person is called maverick. People who do things differently, they are called maverick. Now from the second blank, we come to the third blank. They are talking about a dilapidated building which is surrounded by modern buildings. In front of the modern buildings, this dilapidated building is an absolute eyesore. Professor Raymond had, however, managed to secure approval for the building as a heritage site, making it dash to demolish. So if something becomes a heritage site, it will become impossible to demolish. Yes or no? It cannot become ludicrous. Ludicrous means laughable. If something is ludicrous, it's laughable. Paramount means very important. Paramount means the first, extremely important. Paramount means yes, it is paramount to it. That means it is equal to it. It is paramount to means it is equal to, and paramount also means the apex. Paramount also means apex. Okay, and paramount also means it is equal to. Both. Answer is going to be C, impossible. And then he says he was oblivious to the dash of the neighbors as he had lived in this building for 30 years and was very comfortable here. So because his neighbors, they don't like this building, but he is not allowing the building to be demolished. So his neighbors, what will be yes, his neighbors will show antipathy. Antipathy means hatred or dislike. Hatred or dislike, they will show hatred or dislike. If you are oblivious, that means what? There are so many words here. Hegemony, peroration, oblivious. So let's discuss all these words. We'll discuss all these words one by one. Oblivious. What is the meaning of oblivious? If you are oblivious of something, you are unaware. No, Hima, not don't care. You are unaware. You don't know. You don't care means you are nonchalant. You are nonchalant. You are, what do you call it? Insouciant. Insouciant. These two words means you don't care. You don't care. You are not concerned. Okay. So, not exactly. If you are oblivious of something, you are unaware. You were, you were not aware. Okay. And the noun form is oblivion. There's a movie also, Oblivion. I think Tom Cruise has acted in that movie. Oblivion is a state of unawareness. A state of unawareness. Okay. A state of unawareness. No, apathy means you know, but you are not concerned. Ima, apathy means you know, but you don't show concern, right? So over here, oblivious, or if you're living in oblivion, you don't know, right? So there's a difference. Feckless, feckless also, yes, feckless means you are careless. Feckless means you are careless. Yes, feckless is also I don't care. Yes, you're not concerned. You are feckless. You're right. Okay. So if you are living in oblivion, that means you are living a life of unawareness. Oblivious. You are oblivious. You are oblivious of something means you are not aware. You were not aware. Okay. Other words, other words, there were good words over here. I think there was a word hegemony. It's not pronounced hegemony. Okay, it is not pronounced hegemony. It is hegemony. Hegemony means domination, dominance, dominance. Hegemony is dominance. What dominance? Political dominance, economic dominance, any kind of dominance. Okay, there can be hegemony of one nation over another. That's possible. That is political hegemony. There can be economic hegemony also. Okay, that means economic dominance. So hegemony is dominance or the leadership position, the leadership or the leadership position is called hegemony. So we were living for 200 years. India was living under the hegemony of the British, under the dominance of the British. Okay. Similarly, as far as operating systems are concerned, Microsoft enjoys hegemony. It has domination. It enjoys the dominant position. So hegemony is domination, leadership. Okay, it can be economic, it can be political, in any sense. Economic leadership, political leadership. As far as space research is concerned, NASA enjoys hegemony. Okay, domination or control, kind of monopoly, yes, kind of monopoly, kind of yes. Monopoly can be synonymous, yes. But slight difference, Jatin, is that when there's monopoly, there's only one player. Okay. Whereas in hegemony, there can be multiple players. There can be multiple players, but out of all these players, there is one player that enjoys domination. Okay. That is the difference. In monopoly, you have only one player. Whereas in hegemony, there can be many players. There are so many software companies all around the world. But Microsoft enjoys hegemony. So you can't call it monopoly. Okay. Then there was another word. All these are good words. That is why I'm spending so much time. Peroration. Peroration. Actually, when you actually look at this word, per has two meanings. It's a root for through or every. And oration is speech. Oration is speech. So logically, a peroration is a conclusion of a speech. Okay. It is the conclusion of a long speech. So if after a long speech you say, now I'm going to deliver the peroration, means I'm going to deliver the conclusion. Even though it should be the conclusion, some dictionaries will say peroration is the speech itself. Peroration is the speech itself. Many dictionaries will use it in the sense of number two, a speech, but it actually should be a conclusion of a speech. Why? Because it has per. Per means through. Through means when you're done. When the main speech is done, when you're through the main speech, then the speech that you deliver is called peroration. The conclusion of a speech. Okay, more like a epilogue, more like an epilogue. So hegemony, remember, hegemony is domination, peroration is the conclusion of a speech or a speech, all these words, and oblivious, if you're oblivious or you're living in oblivion, that means you were not aware. If you don't care, if you're not concerned, then you are feckless. There are so many words. You are apathetic. You are apathetic. You are feckless. You are insouciant. You are nonchalant. All these are synonyms. Anybody has any doubt? Anything you did not understand on this slide, please ask. Next one. I'll do this also with you. No, I think you should do this. When we come to CAT, then I will help you. Take 2 minutes. Try to solve this. Okay. More and more, the dash between mainstream media and digital media is deepening. It has to be a gap. The gap between mainstream media and digital media is deepening. The word for gap is chasm. Chasm means gap. Dilemma is not right. Dilemma is when you have two choices. Okay, when you have two choices and you don't know what to choose. You're in a dilemma whether I should go or I don't go. I should go or I don't go. You are in a dilemma. So when you're stuck between two choices, that is a dilemma. Okay. Dilemma is making a difficult situation. What? Dilemma is making a difficult situation. No, dilemma is when you are undecided. Dilemma is when you are not able to decide because you have two choices. You have two choices and you don't know which one to select. Quagmire is a swamp. I think this is a word that we discussed yesterday. Referendum is a vote. It is a vote on a particular issue. It is not like normal elections. If there is a certain issue on which a vote is required, not for the selection of candidate, probably for some other issue, such a vote is called referendum or a plebiscite. Plebiscite or vote can be called referendum. Okay. Dilemma is not right. Dilemma is you are undecided. You don't know what to select. So it should be chasm. The word is not pronounced chasm. It's pronounced chasm. It's a gap. So the gap between mainstream media and digital media is deepening. Although the chasm is deepening, although few regard digital media as the new kid on the block, most think of it only as a dash of the World Wide Web. So it is nothing new. It is just a what? It is a derivative. It is a derivative of the World Wide Web. Absolutely. Munificence means benevolence. Munificence means benevolence. Okay. Kernel means something that is very central or essential. Kernel means the gist, something that is the gist, something that is essential. central or essential is called kernel. Reverence, you all know the reverence is worship and respect. Worship and respect. So he says, experts insist that this dash from the norm has injected new blood. This dash from the norm. If you are doing something from the norm, that means there must be some aberration. You are straying from the norm. Okay, you are straying from the norm, and because of this, new blood is being injected in fields like marketing and advertising. They claim that without dash from the main objective, even though it is straying from the norm, but you are not digressing from the main objective. Digressing means divert. Without diverting from the main objective, digital media has managed to make millionaires of regular people. Okay, abhorrence, now there are so many words. Hatred, abhorrence means hatred. Juxtaposition, you know what is juxtaposition? Juxtaposition means to place side by side for comparison. Juxtaposition is when you place side by side for comparison. That is juxtaposition. Now there are some words here which I would like to discuss. So yeah, I'm coming to that. Okay, juxtaposition means place side by side for comparison. That is juxtaposition. So let's say there are two pictures. You place them side by side, one opposite the other, in order to compare. That is called juxtaposition. This word is also in a song sung by in some movie by Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, intransigence. Stubbornness, stubborn. Obdurate, obstinate. If somebody is showing intransigence, that means that person is being intransigent, obstinate, stubborn. Other words, there were other words here. Other words here like you know what is mitigation? Mitigation, gloating, fawning. I think other words we have discussed. Mitigation. What is mitigation? Yes, mitigate. Mitigate. If you mitigate, that means you reduce. You reduce. Yes, abate. When you mitigate, you reduce, you abate. For example, if you are experiencing sharp pain, you take some medicines to mitigate the pain. Okay, so poverty mitigation programs, poverty alleviation programs, alleviate also is a synonym. Reduce, abate, alleviate, all these are synonyms. Then we had words like fawning. If you are fawning, that means you have a servile nature. You are servile. You toady. You are obsequious. What is the meaning of all this? You behave like a servant. Behave like a servant in front of someone. Okay, you become a sycophant. Sycophant is the person. Sycophant, yes man. Sycophant, yes man, toady. All these can be used as nouns as well. Okay, if you're fawning, that means you grovel, you genuflect. I think we discussed this word. Remember? You grovel, you genuflect. You are ready to genuflect. You grovel. So you are fawning. You want to win favors, and that is why you are ready to crawl in front of someone. Okay. So many words are there. You behave like a servant in front of someone. You are ready to give your control over yourself to someone. Now we come to a very good word, gloating. Now this is important word. If you are gloating, You are very happy. Okay, especially at somebody else's misfortune. This is important. If you are gloating, you are very happy, especially at somebody else's misfortune or loss. So when you gloat, for example, if China and Pakistan they have a war, we'll be so happy, isn't it? Even though we are not involved, we'll be so happy. If US and Pakistan have a war, we'll be so happy. And whenever we have some skirmishes with China, Pakistan must be gloating. Every time they gloat, they're so happy. So when you're happy at somebody else's misfortunate and loss, that is called gloating. And there is another word which is very important: Schadenfreude. Okay, this word complete Schadenfreude. This is a synonym. What is Schadenfreude? Schadenfreude means happiness at somebody else's loss or misfortune. When you gloat, then you show Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is when you're happy, when somebody has lost or when somebody is experiencing some misfortune. Don't forget these words. These are important. Schadenfreude is very important word, and gloating also. Okay, is this clear? Schadenfreude and gloating. You are happy when somebody else is in trouble. So I think we have discussed all the good words here in this one. Any word which requires clarification, ask. Next one. Let us do it together. That way we'll be quicker. Drugs to control cholesterol have been used for more than a decade. For a long time, doctors prescribed them very dash because of early studies that raised questions about potentially dash effects. So I think they must have prescribed it cautiously, isn't it? They prescribed it cautiously because studies must have raised questions about the potential what about potentially dangerous effects. Effects probably were dangerous. That is why they were prescribing it cautiously. However, due to recent dash research, now this research would be promising. The research is now promising. Because of promising research, evidence that is dash has supported the efficacy and use of these drugs. So evidence that is persuasive, that evidence which is persuasive, it what it supports the view that these drugs are efficient. Okay, so I think this is going to be the answer. If there is any word you don't know, please ask. Inadvertently means unintentionally. Okay, if it is advertently, if you do something advertently, you do it intentionally. जानबूझ के. If something happens inadvertently, means it was unintentional. Clandestinely and surreptitiously means secretly. Both these words mean secretly. If you do something in a clandestine manner or a surreptitious manner, you do it secretly. If something is innocuous, it is harmless. Okay, harmless. Innocuous means harmless. It is not dangerous at all. Placebo means it's dummy. All of us must have heard of the word placebo. In an experiment, what happens? One group is given the main medicine, the real medicine, and the other group is given the placebo. Yes, placebo. Placebo means it is dummy. It has no impact. But the mere fact that you have been given a medicine, sometimes it has a placebo effect. Yes or no? Even though that medicine is just harmless sugar pill, but because you think that you have been given the medicine, sometimes people see improvement in their health. That is called placebo effect. So fabricated, you all know. Prejudice, you know. Embellished means decorated. All these words you already know. Okay. After that, it's inadvertent again. See, in the same question, this word is 2 times. Inadvertent or inadvertently mean the same. Inadvertent is adjective, inadvertently is reference. Axiomatic, if something is axiomatic, it is obvious. If something is axiomatic, it is obvious. No proof is required. No proof is required. It is axiomatic. Everybody knows it. Everybody can see it. If something is imperceptible, it cannot be seen. It cannot be perceived. Okay. Any other word? Now I have a question. What is the difference between prejudiced and biased? Are they the same? What is the difference between prejudiced and biased? They're not the same, Damini. Okay, so what is the difference? Prejudice is dislike. Okay. Yes, good. Yes. And bias is? Prejudice is always negative, okay? If you are prejudiced towards someone, it's always negative. You can only see bad things. And bias can be both. You are negative towards something or you are positive towards something. Okay, you actually tend to lean towards something, or you tend to stay away from something. So bias can be both positive and negative. You are biased against somebody or something, or you are biased towards somebody or something. Bias can be both positive and negative. The only thing is that you prefer something, or you don't prefer something. If you're biased, if you're biased towards somebody or something, that means you prefer that person or that thing. Okay, if you are biased or bias, any sentence for bias? Yeah, okay, bias. Right now, I told you I am biased against. If I'm biased against people from the Northeast, I'm biased against people of the Northeast. Well, what does this mean? This means that I don't like them. When the bias is against someone, you don't like it. Yes. I'm biased towards I'm biased towards rasgullas. For example, if I'm biased towards rasgullas, that means what? I favor rasgullas. If you keep all the sweets in front of me, I'm going to pick up rasgullas. I'm not going to pick up other stuff. Yes, I like it absolutely. Okay, so bias can be both ways. Bias can work both ways. Prejudice is always negative. Prejudice, if you're prejudiced against someone, you can only see the bad things. You cannot see anything good in it. Did you understand? Yes. Okay. Let's go to the next one then. Intuition is considered akin. Akin means similar. Intuition is considered akin to perception and memory, but it is dash viewed with more skepticism than the other two. So when he uses the word but, that means it is often, even though intuition is very similar to perception and memory, but it is very often, that means many times, it is viewed with more skepticism than the other two. There should be enough evidence and supporting facts to reach a dash conclusion. Else, it would just qualify as an opinion. So you have to reach a logical conclusion. Otherwise, it will just be your conclusion. Not serious. If you have enough evidence and supporting facts, then your conclusion is going to be logical. How can your conclusion be serious? Your conclusion can be laughable also. I mean, your conclusion can be funny also, Apeksha. But if your conclusion is based on evidence and supporting facts, then your conclusion is logical. Otherwise, it is just an opinion. The argument that our opinions are only the result of our conscious machinations is a little dash. So if somebody argues that our opinions are only the result of our conscious machinations, then this is a result what? This is a little, according to him, this is a little unnerving. No, it is a little exaggerated. It is a little exaggerated. Means he does not think that this is right. Why? Because many a child's outburst of opinion is based on impressions cast on the unconscious mind. He's saying that lot of the times you form opinions, and in your opinions, there's a role of the unconscious mind. So don't think that the opinions are only the result of your conscious machinations. No. If you say that your opinions are formed only by your conscious mind, you are exaggerating things. Because in reality, a lot of opinions are formed based on your unconscious mind. So that is why he says dream analysts have now developed new ways of dash information that could have been locked into the recesses of the subconscious mind. If something is locked, and you want to access it, what will you do? You all are computer students. Yes. If something is locked deep inside something, then you'll have to hack it. They have developed new ways of hacking information that could have been locked into the recesses of the subconscious mind. So they will take out that information which is hidden. They will hack it. Okay. So from the context also, you will have to, look at words. 13, 14, 15, and 16. Please take a look. Myopically means narrowly, narrow, short term. If you're being myopic, you are looking at things from a short term angle. Okay, very narrow way. If something is unnerving, what does it do? If something is unnerving, it makes you anxious. Yes, it unsettles you. It troubles you. So I don't know why you marked, many people marked unnerving. That is not true. All the words were easy. So let's come to the next one, next set. How does it sound correct, Hima? It is unnerving. How? The argument that our opinions are only the result of our conscious machinations is a little unnerving. This argument will unsettle me or make me anxious. Why? No, this looks absolutely wrong to me. You are saying that there's only one. So aren't you exaggerating? You're exaggerating when you say there's only one hero, only one thing on which your opinions are based. So you are exaggerating. Why? Because I can prove that it is opinions are also formed from your unconscious mind. That is why. Next set. Let's come to the next set then. Lady Hawkins had earned the dash of her extensive family by marrying below her station. So if she has married below her station, that she will earn what? She will earn the ire. Ire means anger. Veneration to ho nahi sakta. Veneration is respect. Okay. So she has earned the ire of her extensive family by marrying below her station and moving into her poor husband's dash shabby house. So what kind of a house will a poor husband have? It has to be dilapidated. It can't be lavish and ornate. Lavish and ornate means very decorated. Malignant means deadly. Ornate and lavish means wealthy. Uncouth means rude. So not possible. Has to be dilapidated. Her father refused to talk to her, and her brothers had dashed all roads to reconciliation. So all the roads to reconciliation have been obfuscated. They have been closed. They have been closed. Obfuscate, the word obfuscate means either close. Obfuscate also means to confuse in such a manner that you stop. You don't know where to go. Your road is closed. You get the feeling that there is no road ahead. Everything is closed. You are confused in such a manner that you don't know where to walk. Obfuscate. So all the roads have been obfuscated, and they have declared that they never had a sister. The family was in shock that a genteel lady, strictly brought up in dash to rules that govern society, would actually take such a step. So she's a genteel lady. Genteel means person who follows. Genteel means a person who follows all the rules of society. Okay, such a person is called genteel, not kind, or a person who is very proper, who follows all the rules of society, is called genteel. Now I will actually come to this word genteel. I will discuss this word in detail right now. So this lady is genteel. That means she must have what? She must have shown deference. She must have shown respect, obedience to all the rules. How is it that this lady, who till now has shown so much deference, she has shown obedience to the rules and regulations, and now she has, she has done all these things? Dissonance, dissonance is what? Harsh sound, harsh sound or disagreement. Okay, disagreement when people don't, they are not speaking in the same voice. There's dissonance. If you have a scorn for something, you have a hatred for something. Denouncement, denouncement is criticism. Okay, criticism, when you denounce something, if you denounce something, you criticize something. So let us discuss a few things. I just wanted to discuss a few things. Remember this word, obfuscate. Obfuscate actually means to confuse. To confuse in such a manner, to confuse so as to stop. In your tracks, right? You are confused in such a way that you cannot move. So it is kind of a situation where you don't know what to do. So it becomes closed. Now the word genteel, genteel, right? When you use it for a lady, then it becomes positive. But when you use this for a man, then this word actually has become negative these days. Even though earlier it was positive, it has become negative. If you call a man genteel, that means that man, he is too much, too polite. He is too polite. He is too caring. He is too gentle. He's too caring. He's too gentle. So he's so polite. He's so caring. He's so gentle that many people, they get angry at him, right? So this word, when you use it for a man, then it becomes slightly negative. When you use it for a lady these days, yes, if you're using it for a lady, then it still is kind of positive. But for a man, it becomes negative. So if you have your if you have a friend who will, the moment he will see a lady, he will open the door, he will pull up the chair. Whenever a lady will pass, if he's wearing a cat or a cap or a hat, he will he will doff means he will take out the cap or a hat so as to show respect to that lady. What will you say? You'll call him genteel. You're being too genteel. Listen, I mean, times have changed. So when you use this for a man, it becomes negative. Okay. And what are the words for that? Deference, yes, defer. The word defer. Many people have a lot of confusion. DEFER. This word, when you use it as a verb, it has two meanings. Okay. When the pronunciation is defer, this is how you pronounce. When you pronounce it as defer, that means you postpone it. Postpone or delay. Because of the pandemic, I am going to defer. Okay. Because of the pandemic, I am going to defer my admission. I'm going to postpone my admission. I'm not going to pay the fee. I will probably join in the next semester. Many universities will now have to offer deferred admission to students. Yes or no? Delayed admission, postponed admission, defer. Okay. When you pronounce it as defer. Defer means you show respect. You respect or you obey someone. The noun form becomes deference. Deference becomes the noun form. You show deference towards somebody or something. That means you show respect or obedience towards somebody or something. So the same word, when you pronounce it as defer, that means you postpone it or delay it. You defer it. And when you pronounce it as defer, that means you respect or you obey. Did you get this? Okay. There are two more words that I wanted to discuss with you. Right now, we saw a word denouncement. Denouncement is actually denounce. It comes from the word denounce. Denounce is criticize. When you criticize someone. A very similar word. Uh, just a minute. ENOUE. I think it is NOUE. Let me check. NOUE. MENT. Yes. This is the word that I wanted. DENOUEMENT. You'd have to pay attention now. See, this is denouncement. And this word, it is not pronounced denouement. Okay? The pronunciation is not even day, it is they. Denouement. Denouement. Okay? Denouement. What is denouement? Denouement is the climax. And denouement is the conclusion, the final. Okay. So what is the denouement? Denouement is the climax, the conclusion, the end in which all the, whatever intricacies were there, all the intricacies are solved. You come to know all the secrets that were hidden. Such a climax, such a conclusion is called denouement. More, M-O-A-H, more, denouement. Denouement. Okay, you can check, Jatin, you can check it online also. I just want to make you aware. Denouement. Okay. Some of them will pronounce denouement. They will say denouement, like this. Some of them will pronounce like this. Denouement. Some of them will lay emphasis on D. Denouement. So you will have to check. Different people have different pronunciation, but do not call this word. Do not pronounce this word denouement. This word is not denouement. This word is denouement. And denouement means what? Climax, conclusion. Climax or the conclusion is called denouement, right? If it is a murder mystery, then when is the mystery solved? The mystery is solved in the denouement, in the final. Many people did not like the denouement of the movie Sholay. They did not like it because they did not want the hero to die. It was more like an anticlimax. What is anticlimax? It was more like an anticlimax. What is an anticlimax? What is anticlimax? Opposite to what is expected. Absolutely. It is opposite. Anticlimax is opposite. Very nice, Jatin. Opposite to what is expected. Okay. In what sense? In what sense? It actually means that from a high point, okay, when from a high point you are brought to a low point, right? So you are brought to a low point. You're brought to a low point from a high point. Such a climax is called anticlimax. The meaning is that you had great expectations when you were watching a movie. Okay, for the first 20, 30, 40 minutes, it was a marvelous movie. You had such high expectations. You were thinking something absolutely stunning is going to happen in the end. And when you reach the end, nothing happens. Okay, so when something brings, when you're brought from a high point to a low point, you were expecting something extraordinary or stunning, but nothing of that sort happens. That is when you call it an anticlimax. So anticlimax is always used when you want to say that, oh, anticlimax also always means that, you know, we generally use this word when we want to say that things did not go according to our expectations. It was not according to our expectations. We were expecting so much. Okay. For example, there are some movies. There are some movies uh, that are promoted. They are promoted so well. They're promoted so well. They're promoted so thoroughly. You have such high expectations from those movies. You feel that this movie is going to do a business of 1,000 crores, and when it opens in an anti-climax, what happens? It does a business of just 2 crores. It does not even recover the hero's salary. So it is exactly opposite to what was expected. Avinash, not really. It does not suspense. Suspense means, Avinash, if there is suspense and that suspense is kept alive, and towards the end that suspense is solved and the solution is marvelous, then it is not anticlimax. Anticlimax means you are expecting something so nice, you are expecting something so grand, so big, and what you get is absolutely dejecting. That is anticlimax. Okay, Avinash? Okay. So these are some words which you have to keep in mind. Denouement, remember denouement. There are so many words. There are so many words which we pronounce. We actually pronounce. We do not pronounce it properly. That there are words in the course um, of you know of a vocabulary sessions. We will take a look at these words. But right now, I think this is the first one that we have discussed. Denouement. And now let's go to other questions. Like what Bollywood does by remaking Hollywood movies. Kind of yes, Avinash. Kind of yes. Yes. Okay. Next one. Robert's grandfather's dash for reading was also reflected in his writing. Okay. So his everlasting wish was to have his book published. If he wanted to get his book published, that means he was as interested in reading as he was in writing. So we need a word that he was very interested. This word is pronounced penchant or penchant. I think we have discussed this word many times. This word is pronounced penchant or penchant also. It is a predilection, it is a liking for something. Predilection. You have a penchant for something, you have a predilection for something, you have a liking for something. It cannot be disdain. Disdain and abhorrence. You feel disdain for something means you actually think that that thing is inferior. Okay. Disdain means you feel that that thing is inferior. You abhor something, you hate that thing. Insouciant means you are unconcerned. See, these words are coming again and again and again. Abhorrence and penchant and insouciant. These words come again and again and again. So yes, the grandfather, he had a penchant or a penchant for reading, and this was reflected in his writing. His everlasting wish was to have his book published. Having filled out the dash forms at the publishing house. So forms, these are many forms. I think what he wants to say, okay, you having filled out the dash forms at the publishing house, Robert proceeded to meet the chief editor. Okay. Now, what kind of forms will these be? What do you think? Are they going to be cumbersome? Are they going to be unnecessary? Are they going to be relevant? Are they going to be verbose or tortuous? Because he is going to the publishing house, because he has gone to the publishing house to get the book published, I think he'll have to fill up the relevant forms. If he wants the book to be published, he'll have to fill up the relevant forms. So after having filled out the relevant forms at the publishing house, Robert proceeded to meet the chief editor. A dash young man, Robert was, however, painfully aware of the curious glances his worn out suit was getting. So when you look at his clothes, clothes, his clothes were very bad. His clothes were worn out. But otherwise, this guy was what? Presentable. A presentable young man. Robert was, however, because of the word however, you need a word antonym. Okay, your clothes are bad, but you as a person, you are presentable. The word is presentable. So he was a presentable young man. However, he was aware of the curious glances his worn out suit was getting. His dash vision threw up motions of suppressed smiles and hastily averted eyes. Okay, so when he looked from his peripheral vision, peripheral means he did not look directly sideways. Okay, you can see on your right side and left side. That is called your peripheral vision. So his peripheral vision, what did it show? It threw up means it showed him people suppressing their laughs and people averting their eyes. People were laughing at his dress. He, however, ignored all the unwarranted attention. Okay, so it has to be peripheral. Humongous means huge. Scornful means hatred. Variegated means multicolored. If something is variegated, it is multicolored. There are so many words for multicolored. Pied, piebald. Why just use the word multicolored? Variegated, pied, piebald. All these are synonyms. Okay. Verbose, you already know. Verbose means wordy. We have discussed this word so many times. Tortuous. If something is tortuous, that means it has lots of twists and turns. It curves a lot. Tortuous, like this, like this, like this, like this. Tortuous. All the other words I think you already know. Please take a look. Why not scholarly in 3? Because then you cannot use however. After however, people are negative. People are negative towards his suit. So whatever you say has to be about his appearance, his clothes, and not about his uh, his learning. Ima. Whether Robert is a scholar or not, you don't know. Whether Robert is a scholar or not, you don't know. You just know that his father has written a book which he's trying to get published. Probably Robert is uneducated. From where do you know that he's scholarly? Okay. Tawdry. Tawdry means what? Interesting word. Tawdry means showy. Okay. If something is tawdry, wait. Do we have some space? Yeah. If something is tawdry, that means ostentatious, ostentatious, meretricious, showy, gaudy. All these are synonyms. Okay. If something is tawdry, I forgot the R. Wait. If something is tawdry, that means it is very showy, it is very gaudy, but it is not very good. Okay. Next one. This is from CAT 2002. Yes, let's see. Now you'll have to be very careful, okay? But otherwise, it's not very difficult. Von Neumann and Morgenstern assume a decision framework in which all options are thoroughly considered, each option being independent of the others, with a numerical value derived from the utility of each possible outcome. These outcomes reflecting in turn all possible combinations of choices. The decision is then made to maximize the expected utility. Okay. So how do people make decisions according to von Neumann and Morgenstern? How do we make decisions? All the options are thoroughly considered, and we assign a numerical value to each possible outcome. We assign a numerical value. Okay, and based on that, we make a decision so that our utility is maximized. That is what these two guys are saying. Okay, now he says dash such a model reflects major simplifications of the way decisions are made in the real world. So he says, however, I think over here the word that he wants to use is however. However, such a model reflects major simplifications. That is not how decisions are made in the real world. Okay, so can it be apparently? If it is apparently, then it has to be obviously also. Logically, no. Logically, it can be obviously and apparently both. Okay, but these two are synonyms. Apparently and obviously are synonyms. So I cannot choose one over the other. Plus, I cannot choose firstly because he's not. When we read further, he's not saying that there is a second reason and third reason. He gives only one reason. So why does he have to enumerate it and say firstly, secondly, thirdly? Answer will be regrettably. Okay, regrettably, such a model reflects major simplifications. This is regrettable. Why? Because humans are not to process information as quickly and effectively as the model assumes. Humans tend not to think dash as easily as the model calls for. According to the model, how do we think? Pay attention. Pay attention. How do we think? We assign a numerical value. We assign a numerical value. So how do we think? Do we think systematically and scientifically and analytically? There are millions of other possibilities, but he's using the word numerical. We are assigning numerical value. That means we think quantitatively. Yes, they tend not to think quantitatively as easily as the model calls for. They often deal with a particular option without really assessing its dash, and when they do assess alternatives, so it goes without saying that in the third blank, your answer is going to be when they do assess. No, not at disadvantages, Avinash. Abhi, he has told you the answer. Right now, he's told you the answer. Human beings don't really assess dash. And when they do assess alternatives, that means it has to be alternatives. They may be externally nebulous about the criteria of evaluation. So even when human beings, if they assess alternatives, they don't assess alternatives. When humans take any decision, then they generally don't assess all the alternatives. And even if they assess all the alternatives, there are so many things that are nebulous. They don't know. Nebulous means it's not clear. Humans are not clear about their own criteria of evaluation. They don't know why they have selected a particular option. Okay? So these are going to be the answers. Did you understand? Remember, in fill in the blanks, in fact, I will reiterate this when we take up a class on fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks, we will have a class. In fill in the blanks, whenever you select words, always select words always select words that match the words already used in the passage. For 26, logically all 4 options are correct. I can put all 4 in the blank and they will make sense. But if you see, in the passage itself, he has said that what do we do? How do we assess things? We give it a numerical value. So we should select the word numerical. And the closest word to numerical is quantitative. Okay? Next one. Let's see. In a large company, dash people is about as common as using a gun or a switchblade to dash an argument. As a result, most managers have little or no experience of firing people. So if they have no experience of firing people, that means in the first blank you need firing. In a large company, firing people is about as common as using a gun or a switchblade to dash an argument. What do? If you want to resolve an argument, you don't start firing people. That is not how large companies work. And that is why managers, they don't have experience of firing people and they find it emotionally automatic as a result. They often delay the act. They don't want to fire people. They delay the act interminably. Just like much as an unhappy spouse will prolong a bad marriage. And when the firing is done, it is often done clumsily, with far worse side effects than are necessary. Do the world class of the organization have a different way of firing people? No, but they do the deed swiftly, humanely and professionally. The key point here is to view the fired employee as a failed product and to ask how the process dash such a phenomenon in the first place. So how the process let it happen? How did it allow? How did it produce such a phenomenon? No, I think it should be allowed. The key point here is to view the fired employee as a failed product and to ask how the process. No, not really. I don't think it should be produced. You don't produce a failed employee. The employee has failed. Okay, so you cannot produce such a phenomenon. You have allowed such a phenomenon. I will go with allowed and not produced, because how can you produce a failed employee? That's not possible. The phenomenon over here is a failed employee. You look at it as a failed product. You can look at the employee as a failed product, but employee is not produced. You allowed such a phenomenon in the very first place. How did you allow a person who could not work? How did you select such a person in your company? I think allowed is better. So I'm going to mark allowed. There's a word thought. Thought means to stop. If you thought something, you stop something. Admonishing means you warn somebody. When you admonish somebody, you warn someone. So these I think should be the answers. Any doubt, anyone? Next one. Let's see. At that time, the White House was as serene as the resort hotel out of season. The corridors were dashed. If it was serene, that means the corridors were empty. The corridors were empty. The White House corridors were empty. In the various offices, dash grey men in waistcoats talk to one another in low-pitched voices. If they are talking in low-pitched voices, then they have to be quiet. Can they be stentorian? No. Stentorian means loud. So only color or choler. Choler means anger. Choler is anger, okay? The only color of choler, curiously enough, was provided by President Eisenhower himself. So the president was angry at something, okay? And he's the one only who's showing color. Everybody else is very quiet and faded. Apparently, his dash was easily set off. His anger was easily set off. You need a word like anger. Because choler, if you don't know the meaning of choler, you will not be able to solve the blank. His anger or temper, it was easily set off. He scowled. Scowled means make angry faces. When you scowl, you make angry expressions. He scowled when he dashed the corridors. So when he was walking on the corridors, he scowled. Okay. Now, he is walking on the corridor. Please understand. Will he be strolling? Stroll means to walk leisurely. To walk leisurely. Okay. Will he be prowling? Prowling means to stalk someone. No, he will not be prowling. He will not be walking leisurely. If he is angry, then he will storm. He will storm the corridors. Okay, he's walking angrily. That means storm. It cannot be paced. Pace means to walk. Pace simply means to walk. No, you can walk on a fast pace. Fast pace. Okay. Uh, no. Pace means to walk to walk in a kind of pattern. To walk in a pattern. To walk in a pattern. There's a standard. You are walking in a low pace or fast pace. So there's a pattern that you're following. So what should be the answer? Answer should be storm. He stormed the corridors. Okay, is this clear? Okay. I think this is the last one over here. Let's see. Between the year 1946 and the year 1955, I did not file any income tax returns. With that dash statement, Ramesh embarked on an account of his encounter with the income tax department. Okay, so he's saying that I did not file any income tax return, and he's so happily saying this. Blunt. Is he being blunt? Okay. Devious. Devious means he's acting like a devil. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. I think somehow I get the feeling that it should be pretentious. He's actually the way he's saying it's as if he's done something very big. So with that dash statement, I think it should be pretentious. As of now, we leave it. With that dash statement, Ramesh embarked on an account of his encounter with the income tax department. I originally owed rupees 20,000 in unpaid taxes. With dash and dash, the 20,000 became 60,000. I think first there's going to be interest, and on those interests there's going to be fines. First there is going to be, sorry, taxes. Sorry. First there's going to be taxes. I originally owed 20,000 in unpaid taxes. On the tax there is going to be interest. Yes, interest, and there's going to be fine, penalty. Interest and fine. Yes, A and D. Right. So original amount is 20,000. On this 20,000, there is interest and fine. 20,000 became 60,000. Income tax department then went into action, and I learned firsthand just how much power the income tax, how much power the tax department wields. Royalties and trust funds can be dash. If you have royalties and trust funds, they can be closed. How can you close? They can be detached. All your royalties and trust funds, they can be attached. That means the income tax department can take possession. Royalties and trust funds cannot be impounded. Impound means to restrict within a certain area. So you cannot impound it. Whatever royalty you get, all the trust funds you have, they are attached. Automobiles may be seized. Automobiles will be seized and they will be auctioned off. Nothing belongs to the dash until the case is settled. So nothing belongs to the person who has not paid the taxes, offender. This I think should be the answer. Now there's only one. The first blank. Between the year 1946 and the year 1955, I did not file any income tax returns. With that dash statement, Ramesh embarked on an account of his encounter with the income tax department. So if somebody is talking about the fact that he's not filing returns, he is doing something wrong, and then he's talking about it in front of you, don't you think he's boasting about it? And then he's telling the story also. So I think he's boasting about the fact that he has done something wrong. It has to be pretentious. I'm going to mark pretentious. Should be pretentious for 35. You have a doubt in 38. Yes. What is your doubt, Avinash? Your royalties and trust funds are attached. Attached means the tax department will have authority over it. Your royalties and trust funds can be closed. If they are closed, that means nobody will get access to it. Detach. Your royalty and trust funds can be detached from what? It is not sticking to any surface. Detach means if something was sticking to a surface, it comes off. The royalties and trust funds are not sticking to you. No, detach means not taken away. Detach means it was attached to something. Now it comes off. Okay. Whenever somebody forcibly takes away your rights, then they don't detach it. They attach your properties. Income tax department will always attach your properties. They will not detach it. Victim, you are not the victim. You are not the victim, Rohan. You have done something wrong. You have not paid taxes. So how are you the victim? If something wrong is being done to you, then you are the victim. You are the offender. All this is being done because you have not paid the tax. So you are not the victim. You are the offender. Okay. Yes, victim. Victim means, I mean, you are the culprit. You are not the victim. Victim means you are the query. You know what is query? Query means you are the prey. You are the person who has suffered losses. You are the person who has suffered the wrong. The wrong has been done to you. But in this case, no wrong has been done to you. You have not paid the taxes. So in fact, you have done something wrong. You are the offender. Okay. Okay. So please take a look. Anything you did not understand. There are lots of words we discussed today. I hope you are making notes. And I think there are few words which now you know by heart because we have come across these words so many times. Penchant, a word like penchant and insouciance. These words we have come across so many times that now I think it will become part of your permanent vocabulary. Anything that requires clarification, please ask because I think we have covered all the questions. Done? Okay. I think I will take a separate session where there are some words or there are still 20 minutes. Do you want me to discuss a few things more or this much is sufficient? A few things that are not part of this session. You want to? Okay. Let's see. How do you pronounce this word? I'm talking about a few words, pronunciation of a few words. This word means boredom. Okay, it's a noun. It's a noun, boredom. It is not ny. The pronunciation is on a v. On v. If there is feeling of ennui, that means there is feeling of boredom. Remember this. Okay. I wanted to discuss this word because of the pronunciation. Uh, the meaning is ennui. Remember, the meaning is ennui. After being under lockdown for 45, 46 days, now the ennui is setting in. Initial 20 days, it was so nice. It was relaxing and all that stuff. Now the ennui is setting in. Now the boredom is setting in. People are getting restless now. Okay, this is how you use the word. Pronunciation is ennui. It's not ny. Ennui, and you'll use it as a noun. This word, actually is pronounced junta. Junta. Okay, because it is a Spanish word, and in Spanish, J is H, right? So the pronunciation of this word is junta, but so many people they pronounce this word as junta also. Junta. But this is not preferred. The preferred pronunciation of this word is junta. What is junta? What is junta? Anyone has any idea? A military government. Yes, a military government. It is not janta, okay? The word is not janta. It's not pronounced janta. If if you want to if you want the word janta, then Janta. The spelling is Janta. Janta. Janta means the common people. And many times, many dictionaries have included this word in the English language now. The janta is restless. That means the common people. The common people are now restless. But this word is Ju. Junta. It's not pronounced janta. It should be pronounced junta. The pronunciation should be junta because in Spanish J is H. So it should be junta. But many people still insist on pronouncing it as junta. The more acceptable pronunciation is junta. Remember that. It's a military government. It's a military government. Now, J is H in Spanish. You see this in so many words like San Jose. There's a place, San Jose. Why don't you pronounce it San Jose? San Jose. This word, jalapenos. It's not jalapenos. Okay. And this word. Everybody likes this. It is mojito. Yeah, the pronunciation is mojito, right? So these are some examples. These are some examples, and in fact, there are many people. There are many people from in the Latin Americas. Their names are Jesus. They call themselves this. Okay, but it's not pronounced Jesus. Jose Jesus. Jesus. Okay. So remember this. The pronunciation ennui is boredom, junta, and other words. There are other words also. Now this word, it's people make a lot of memes of this word. This word pronunciation is chutzpah. Okay, the pronunciation of this word is chutzpah. What is the meaning of this word? Chutzpah means temerity. Now, what is temerity? It is kind of overconfidence. It is kind of overconfidence. If you show chutzpah, if you show temerity, you are so confident of yourself or something that other people find you rude. Okay, extreme confidence, chutzpah. The pronunciation of this word is chutzpah. Okay, temerity, and not what you're thinking, right? Chutzpah, temerity, overconfidence. So if somebody is showing chutzpah, that person is showing overconfidence. That person is so overconfident that other people will consider him to be rude. For example, let us say there are some professors. There are some professors you also probably have experienced. Some professors who are more of a pedant. They are more of a pedant. Okay, you know what is a pedant? That means they have bookish knowledge. They have academic knowledge. They don't have real world experience. They have a lot of bookish knowledge. They are academic. I think we discussed this word pedant. It is used in a negative way. Remember, pedant. So there are lots of professors. There are lots of professors who you can call a pedant. They are very bookish. They emphasize on book learning. Okay. Now pedants, what happens is that if you raise objections, if you ask questions, if you talk about things that do not work the same in reality as it is written in the books, then these guys, they become offended. The pedants, they become offended. They say no, this is what theory says. And if you insist, if you if you ask questions, then they will start saying, look at your chutzpah, look at your temerity, look at your chutzpah, look at your temerity. You are challenging the professor. You have the chutzpah, you have the temerity to challenge the professor. Whenever I see this word, okay, chutzpah and temerity, the one person who comes in front of my mind is Munna Bhai MBBS. Look at his chutzpah. Look at his chutzpah. That is how I remember this word. He had the guts, he had the overconfidence to challenge even the professor, the principal of that medical college. Right. And I think there's one more that I would like to, um, because you see these words a lot. Right. Horse the obras, it is not horse the obras. What happened? Oh, Siddhant, you said starters. Yeah, I know what is starters. How do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce it? Hors d'oeuvres. Okay, hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres. What are hors d'oeuvres? Hors d'oeuvres are starters. Hors d'oeuvres are starters. You will see this word in many passages, and this word is used in lots of passages, a lot of other sources. If you are in a reading habit, you will come across all these words. If you don't read anything, then you will not come across any of these words. Then these words are useless. Hors d'oeuvres means starters. Okay, starters. Entree. Entree. Okay, the word entree, I think this is the last word I will discuss today. Hors d'oeuvres means starters. It also means entree. Now, entree, if you see, some dictionaries will say entree are the starters. Some dictionaries will say entree is the main course. Some dictionaries will say entree is both. So there's a lot of confusion. What exactly is entree? Whether it is starters or the main course or both. Different regions, different people use it differently. But we know for certain that entree can be used as starters. Sometimes, many times, in fact, it's used for the main course also. And many times it is used for both the main course as well as the starters. When it is used for starters, then its synonym is hors d'oeuvres. It's not pronounced hors d'oeuvres, it's pronounced hors d'oeuvres. Okay, so just remember these things. Just remember these few things, and as and when we meet next, I will add on to what you already know. I will discuss other things as well. Please take a look. Anything you did not understand? Anything requires clarification? Please ask. I hope these vocabulary sessions are informative for you. I hope you learn few things. Okay, that is what I hope. Okay, right. So we'll continue with our classes. The schedule would be uploaded by tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay, and accordingly we'll meet for the next session. Till then, take care, all of you. See you. Good night.
Music